In 2012, Sarah Gadd was in medical school when she got in an awful car accident. The ER doctor prescribed her opioids to help her manage her pain.
OxyContin and all of these narcotic pain medications. I just never fathomed that I could become addicted. You know, there's that moment with my pain doctor, and he just cut me off.
That's when Sarah got creative. One of her tasks in medical school was writing prescriptions for patients, and then the doctors would sign.
And so I had this prescription pad at my disposal that I started using to self-prescribe myself opioids. And it did not take very long before I got caught. Every prescription that I forged came with 5 or 6 different felonies.
At one point, Sarah was facing 90 felony charges, so she dropped out of medical school.
I didn't really care anymore about piling on criminal offenses. I just was using to my heart's content, kept getting arrested. And then in July of 2015, I got arrested. It was my final jail stint in Minneapolis, and spent 5 days in jail. I could not wait to get out and relapse, which I did, and then I overdosed.
Wow, please welcome to DBL, Sarah Gadd. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you for having me.
What an amazing comeback story, Sarah, because after you were caught forging prescriptions, how did you continue feeding your addiction?
I would just do more of the same. When I became addicted to opioids, there was this new database called the Prescription Drug Monitoring Database that told clinicians exactly what controlled substances you have been prescribed by what doctor over the last year. And when I would get searched in that database, they would see, oh, this woman, this date of birth was just prescribed oxycodone 2 days ago, so this can't be legitimate. So I would just make doctor's appointments or write prescriptions in different spellings of my name or with different dates of birth so I could evade this database. But I didn't, again, do a very good job at covering my tracks. And I got caught pretty quickly and spent a good chunk of my life between 2012 and 2015 just in and out of jails and rehab centers for nonviolent drug offenses, and was convicted of 7 nonviolent drug felonies.
Wow.
When this was all over, when I started law school.
Oh my gosh. Let me ask you this really quickly. First off, our audience is writing in and they all are, it's just a very relatable story. And I wanted to ask you, what happened to you after you overdosed?
So I woke up in the same hospital where this all started, the same hospital I was taken to after my car accident, where I was prescribed the opioids. It was about 3 years later, I ended up back in that hospital, but I was being pumped full of Narcan to kind of flush the opioids out of my system. And it was in the hospital after my overdose where I was introduced to a medication called Suboxone. And at that time, I was not really, I had come to terms with the fact that my story was either going to end with me dead or in prison.
Right.
And I was actually texting a drug dealer from my hospital bed saying, come bring me opioids to the ER. I'm in such bad withdrawal right now. And then this addiction medicine fellow stopped by my room and was like, well, I see, you're in a lot of discomfort. I can't give you opioids, but I can give you this medication that is a partial opioid that we're using to treat opioid use disorder. And I just heard the word partial opioid and was like, yes, give it to me. And then after that, I felt like a new person. I felt like the old me, and it felt very abnormal because I was used to spending all my time foraging for opioids. And when I didn't have the cravings anymore or the urges to use or with the withdrawal symptoms, then I was forced to reckon with the fact that for the last 3 years, I've been in and out of jail, racking up felonies. I can't get a job. I can't find a place to live. So now that I am off of opioids, what do I do next to stay on the straight and narrow? And it was just fortuitous that I had an attorney who was working on a lawsuit that I was filing against one of the jails that I was incarcerated in. The attorney's name is Kathleen Zellner. She's known from the documentary Making a Murderer. She filed a lawsuit against one of the jails in which I was incarcerated. It was a jail in Chicago where I was sexually assaulted, and I was beaten to the point where the jail had to prescribe me opioids for my injuries. And, you know, the most important thing that she did for me was not file a lawsuit or win me settlement money. She gave me a job. She gave me an opportunity to show the world that, you know, yes, I have this past. I've made these mistakes in my past, but here's what I can still contribute to society. So just give me a second chance. And, you know, like I said in my personal statement from law school, I just need a second chance. And if you give me that, I'm certain I will not need a third.
Wow, what a story. You are beyond an inspiration and so unbelievably resilient. And now you're a very successful lawyer. I want all of our viewers to know that. Thank you for sharing your incredible journey with us on DBL. To our viewers, if you or anyone you know is struggling with substance abuse, please call 1-800-662-4357 for help. You are not alone. Thank you again, Sarah. Congratulations.